Hello, welcome to Cat's Love. Here I am under the tree, but I'm not unboxing my presents. Instead, I'm talking about the presents that you can get for your cat. Holiday season is right around the corner, and you may want to get some gifts for your cat. So here's a top 10 list of the most popular-ish cat toys, ranked worst from best. I'm taking into account their price, their durability, how long they last, and if it's good for your cat's temperament. This video is going to be a little iffy, lighting and everything wise. My tripod broke. I should be getting a new one soon. So, this one's going to be a little iffy, but that's okay. Anyway, starting with our last place spot, number 10, yarn and string. Yeah, the whole cats love yarn stereotype thing is pretty dangerous. Not only is yarn, twine, or string, or really anything that fits a loose, stringy description shouldn't be given to your cat as a regular toy. Not only is it dangerous and sometimes deadly health-wise, but it can get boring fast. Cats need an enriching toy that doesn't get boring after a use or two, especially with higher energy breeds. And the only thing that it really does to make it entertaining is that it moves kind of like a snake, with a fabric that feels good to bite in. But health-wise, it can kill your cat. If digested, they can choke on it, and it can get tangled and legit destroy their intestines while it's in their belly. And if you see the yarn protruding from your cat's butt or their tongue, then never pull it out and contact your vet immediately. Speaking of cheap and dangerous thrills, a lot of the toys on shelves of retailers like Walmart aren't the greatest either. The cheap plush mice, for one, are cheaply made. I have bought these just to see a thick gob of glue holding the eye to the mouse. Which, if this toy is going to be bit in your cat's mouth, then I don't think there should be that much or really any glue exposed to be bitten on or eaten. It shouldn't be cheaply made or have any small parts that can be bit off and swallowed. That includes wands, feather toys, or really anything else that is cheaply made. Just cheaply made materials or loose small parts should either just be avoided or monitored while they're playing with it. Alright, let's move on to our next spot. Number 9, glitter pom-poms. So these are just the usual small ball toys that you can buy, and I am including the non-glittery ones in this section as well. The glitter ones are not safe for cats. For one, the materials come off really easily, and two, it just shouldn't be digested. They usually aren't made with quality but quantity in mind, and they do not last long at all. Yeah, these toys just suck. And they don't provide much stimulation, as they are small, and the only thing that would really wound them up is if you throw it in just the motion of them rolling. They're easy to swat since they're lightweight, but other than that, and health-wise, if those loose parts are swallowed, then they can cause choking hazards or gastrointestinal problems. And the normal pom-poms, same thing. Alright, let's move on to number 8, motorized toys. So not all motorized toys are bad, and I'll explain why I put them so low here in a few. But when it comes to motorized toys, it really only works for cats who like to stalk and chase. Not cats who just want to roll around and bite. It's made more for cats who like to use their paws, if you know what I mean. Plus, when it comes to the toy electronic mice, it's good that they move unexpected, but they'll usually just move in a straight line, which can become very predictable in a cat's playtime. But it can be beneficial for satisfying their hunting instincts, but they can also eat the parts off of it. Automatic butterflies could be cool as long as they aren't made from cheap materials. The cheap materials that are usually used in the making of the motorized butterflies can be toxic. Cheap materials can be hazardous since your cat will be biting and possibly ingesting it. Also, their claws and whiskers can get caught in the moving parts. Other than that, it can provide a really good exercise and stimulation if it's a sturdy toy. When it comes to motorized toys, supervision is necessary. It is really easy for a cat to digest or eat the materials made or any loose parts since they are probably genuinely thinking that they are actually attacking a real-life mouse or butterfly. But the main reason I put them so low was the price. Most of them are pretty costly for a product that has really cheap batteries that die pretty fast. I found a $12 listing for a singular motorized mouse, and it has parts that can be ripped off and eaten. Plus, if your cat is higher energy, then they may really bite into it, and the fabric may not be thick enough to prevent their teeth from going into the machine. But like I said, it really does depend on brand and quality. Anyways, next up on the list is number 7, laser pointers. Yeah, this is a really popular cat toy. Why is this so low on the list? Well, it entirely revolves around your cat's temperament. Some cats won't bat an eye, some cats will go crazy for it. But the thing that really affects cats when it comes to this toy is their mental. So obviously we know that they can't catch the dot. And them repeatedly chasing and going through all the work of hunting to just not get the reward can cause frustration, anxiety, and it just interrupts their natural hunting cycle. Hunt, catch, and kill. So they just waste their time by hunting and doing all that just to not be able to catch it. But other than that, it's a really durable toy as they aren't playing with the gadget itself, and the only thing you'd really have to worry about is the battery dying, or if it just gets dropped and shatters into a million pieces. But if your cat likes to run and chase, then the laser pointer wouldn't be half bad as long as you don't shine it in their eyes. Alright, let's move on to number 6, plain materials. So this isn't technically a toy, but to your cat, it may seem like the greatest Christmas present ever. I'm talking about cardboard boxes, paper balls, and bags. Cats and cardboard boxes have been a duo since forever. And most cats would prefer a box or a piece of crumbled up paper over a $20 cat toy. But having a cardboard box laying around can actually provide some good stimulation for your cat, and it's a good alternative if you don't want to go out of your way to buy a really expensive cat toy. So cardboard boxes can be good for your cat to hide, bite, and sharpen their claws on, but when a cat does bite, they may digest the cardboard, which of course isn't digestible or safe. As long as they're just scratching or hiding, then they should be fine. Just make sure they're not eating it. Just make sure that before you give your cat a box, check for staples, glue, tape, or really any chemicals. Other than that, paper is also generally safe for cats. When it comes to shredding, paper shouldn't be eaten, obviously. Just make sure there's no ink or gloss. Just basic paper would do best. And for those wondering if they could get paper cuts, no, their toe beans are way too thick and they're way too durable for them to get paper cuts. And when it comes to bags, it's a no. The handles themselves can pose a risk of choking or just getting stuck in it in general would suck. And bags in general can pose suffocation and strangulation. Our cat Whiskey loves to play in bags, and we'll let him play in the bags, but we make sure that he does have supervision while doing so, just to make sure he won't suffocate himself. And if your cat wants to play in a bag, you should probably do the same, supervise them. But let's look at the next spot, number 5, kicker toy. So a kicker toy is specifically made to go through it all. It's made to be kicked, bitten, scratched. And a good kicker toy would be beneficial for their exercise. Anyways, a kicker toy can range from a long banana to a mouse. But usually they have a catnip scent, or they're filled with catnip, or they have a sound to attract them to kick it. It's made to be kicked and to stimulate their hunting instincts. And it's a pretty good way of exercise, but it all depends on the toy's quality. That's the reason it's lower. For instance, since it's usually being vigorously kicked, it can shred and be torn apart, exposing the stuffing or cotton inside. And if it's a mouse or a bird kicker toy, then it can have small parts on it, like feathers or eyes or something, that when kicked off and digested would suck for the cat. Other than that, there isn't much that is relatively bad about this toy. And if you're wanting to get your cat just the run-of-the-mill toy, this one's recommended. Number 4, feather toys. So this section doesn't include wands. It will include feather wands, but wands in general won't be talked about here as I'm pairing all the feather toys together. And I'll explain why here in a second. So feather toys are sticks, balls, or really anything mechanical that just has feathers all over them. They include feathers due to their natural and erratic bird appearance, which will stimulate your cat to jump and attack and chase. The reason I'm classifying feather and normal ones separately is due to the other toys having feathers and a price difference. But feather toys are recommended for your cat's innate hunting instincts, mimicking birds. And some feather toys will have a weight weighing it down so that way the cat can play with it while it's flying around. As your cat usually will just play with them independently, but of course they can eat the feathers. It can cause a blockage or choking, and if it has sharp quills or feathers, then it can prick the cat in the inside of their mouth. Other than that, feather toys are usually a little more costly, And if you get a high quality one like the Bird, who uses actual turkey and guinea feathers which are sourced humanely, then it'll last longer and provide a more genuine play experience. Let's move on to our next one. Number 3, wands. So when it comes to wands, it's more interactive, meaning you are playing with your cat and you are usually the one to begin the play. They aren't playing independently. But wands are basically just sticks with something dangly or something to where they can just jump up and grab it. The reason that wands are so high up on their list is due to their versatility, price range, and they are great for most cats, as you can change your play to fit your cat's playstyle. The only cons would be if the cheaply made parts of the wand got consumed, or if your cat just rolled around in it a little too crazy, then they could get caught in it and possibly get strangled, but that shouldn't happen if you are the one playing with them. Of course, some cats could be timid of it and some won't show any interest, but it can depend on what exactly is dangling on the wand, like a feather, critter, or ribbons. Just whatever could fit your cat's playstyle. Let's move on to our number 2 place. It covers all the bases for being such a simple idea. It's just 2 pieces. One is just a flat base, and the other is a layer that creates tunnels, holes, hiding spots, and it encourages hunting and scratching. You can customize it however you want, sprinkling treats or catnip through it, or playing with your cat through the holes and tunnels. The only cons would be the price, which would ultimately be worth it in the end. They are difficult to clean, and due to them being made of recycled materials, they can break down or lose their shape, as well as frequent resetting of the Velcro, so that way the top layer stays to the base and it allows customization. But other than that, when it comes to cat toys in general, this is the best of all worlds. Anyways, this was the list. I know this video was probably a little longer. This is one of the longest scripts I've written in a hot minute. And it's Merry Catmas, and I'm going all out. And this is a pretty important video for this channel. But when it comes to Christmas presents, they'll probably just enjoy the box that the toy came in. But this has been Cat's Love. Happy holidays.